And why not? Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael are famous and rich. Stars of a movie that made more than $130 million last year. Now they're launching a sequel, this time fighting to keep a dangerous green ooze out of evil hands. It's a tall order for these experienced crime-fighting turtles. But eventually, the question arises, are these guys really made of the right stuff? Well, you can find the answer to that question right here in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is the Creature Shop. A few hundred yards from the movie studio, creature creators constantly maintain 56 turtle suits. The legs, arms, hands, and of course, the turtle torso.
The suits themselves are made from foam latex, which we create in London. They're very flexible, but they're not terribly durable. It's a trade-off, one between the other. So they require a lot of maintenance to keep them looking as good as they do.
Every day, an average of 16 costumes are really badly beaten up. They're dried in saunas before they're repaired, since each suit is soaking wet with sweat.
Once we sweat them up, they're about 70 pounds.
Explain that to me, once we sweat them up.
In other words, once you perspire enough that the costume absorbs, it's like a big sponge. You're wearing a body sponge is basically what it is.
You must get drenched in that costume. What does that feel like?
Well, I don't know if you've ever held a Nerf football after it's been outside in the backyard.
Kind of spongy and very heavy.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. I mean, you just completely soak the costume.
The feeling of being in those costumes has to be such a mental strain. I think I'd get pretty cranky if I were in one of those all day.
It is. And what happens is throughout the day, things, because of the physical stress that you're under and your limited vision and limited breathing,
limited breathing?
Yeah, we have a very small area where the oxygen that we breathe in comes in right through where we see as well.
Oh.
And unfortunately, there's not a good system for getting the carbon dioxide out. So we tend to breathe in a lot of our own carbon dioxide after a while, which sometimes you get very sleepy. You start to get a little irritable. And then at some point, you may have a conflict with one of your fellow workers. Mm-hmm. But we all realize that it's part of the job, it's part of the day. And then when it's wrap time, when everybody goes home, we all, everybody says thank you for a great day, and we make up, and we know that it's just part of the job, but nobody takes it personally.
If I were on this set, there would be lots of jokes. I couldn't help it. They would just come out of me. There must be a lot of, I'm glad I was able to bring you out of your shell kind of jokes.
Oh, there's so many bad puns, worse than that, better than that. Every one of the turtles, the puppeteers, everybody in the set has all their turtle jokes of coming out of your shell, and we had a shell of a good time, and the list is infinite. Green with envy, all those things.
It's fun playing famous turtles, but it's a particular pleasure for Mark Casso, who plays Leonardo. He's lucky to be walking after a crippling accident, and that made national news.
In 1980, I was training for the Olympic trials, and I landed on my head in a practice situation at UCLA. I broke my 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae and was laid up for quite some time, and went back into the sport, and then made the national team, and then went all the way to Olympic trials and everything. You can either lay down and die, or you can just stand up and fight, and I've always been a fighter.
They're all fighters and fun lovers for their fans, who are typically kids under 10.
It's a wonderful thing. I mean, it's something positive that the kids can have, and to be a part of that. And they like the turtles, so I'm happy, because kids, that means they like me,
They do.
They like a turtle, they like me.